Hello, it is Sunday, August 10th, 2025. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Sunday crossword today, which means we're going to be solving a big themed grid with a name. Passing Glances is what this puzzle is called, and we'll find out what that means. Passing Glances. Started to become, it's interesting, I've said it a number of times on this channel, but I never used to really pay very much attention to themes before I started solving on video, and I've really been enjoying trying to infer things about the theme from the title of the crossword. Actually, on that note, I never even used to really notice that Sunday puzzles had titles because on the phone app, which is where I used to solve, it's hidden behind the little flashing eye button. So if you are solving a puzzle on the crossword, don't forget to tap the little eye in case there might be information about there might be a title on a Sunday puzzle, but there might also be a note about the puzzle's theme in there as well. That will be true if the eye has a sort of flashing circle around it. Anyway, just a tip for these Sunday puzzles if you're solving on the phone. Let's see. Anyway, this Sunday, this titled edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Lunar Society champion Orange Piku and, as always, the indomitable Shoalmaster and the indefinable Charlie Paget. Thank you so much to the four of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for their generous support. They, of course, sustain this channel. They keep this series going, and I'm very grateful to them for that. Thank you to those four. Thank you to everybody who supports the channel via Patreon. If you'd like to do so yourself, you can head to patreon.com/dailysolve or click the description field link, where you'll find bonus videos available to patrons. And for benefactors, like those I've just mentioned, there's the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses official mug. There's also the ongoing call for questions for this month's patron Q&A video. All right. Thanks to everybody who supports the Patreon campaign at any level. Let's get on to today's crossword, Passing Glances. This is a collaborative construction by Adam Wagner and Chandy Deitmer, who've constructed, I think, around a few dozen and maybe about a dozen puzzles, respectively. It will have a theme. It's a big grid. It's a Sunday crossword. It was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. Let's start solving, see how our glances are passing. A helpful site for a DIYer. What would that be? Etsy, maybe? Or eBay or something? Etsy? And so on, etc. That could be either of those two. One of the text reaction buttons on an iPhone. A like or something like that? Well, let's try Etsy on here and see if it works. Showy Daisy. That doesn't seem right. Helpful site for... Oh, no, I know what it's going to be. It's going to be eHow, which is that site that has instructions on how to do all sorts of tasks with those very kind of classic line art illustrations that look like, I don't know, mid-century manuals or something. Maybe not mid-century, maybe more like 1970s or 80s. One of the text reaction buttons on an iPhone. I still don't know what that is. Showy Daisies... Deliberate and unprovoked. Wanton, wanton destruction, deliberate, unprovoked destruction. Basis for a write-off, perhaps. Attacks, something. Showy Daisies. Oh, ox eyes? Could we have, eyes would be related to glances. Right, okay, so here's what I mean about using the title of the Sunday puzzle in order to help you perhaps solve the theme. So on a Sunday, we have a name of the puzzle, Passing Glances. I'm thinking about looking or things passing other things. I mean, who knows which of those words is going to be more relevant. And also on a Sunday crossword, you might have a rebus in the puzzle. You usually won't, but you might do. A rebus being when you can enter more than one letter in the same cell. For instance, the word I in here. I don't know if this is going to be correct. But ox eyes are daisies, I believe. And putting I into the grid would seem to me to be relevant to the title, Passing Glances. So does that work with this at all? Something big and rocky with a Space Force base in it. Cheyenne Mountain or something? That feels like it's working. That fits. What about this? One of the text reaction buttons on an iPhone. Ah, right, yes. The little haha. The actual word haha is written out. That's right. So New York City's Astor Place, named for the Astor, wealthy Astor family of New York and elsewhere. Noted NSA whistleblower, Edward Snowden. Okay, this is working out. So passing glance is right. So we're probably going to have more instances of I, the rebus, in this crossword. And if you're wondering, well, how do you know you're supposed to do that if you haven't encountered this mechanic before in the New York Times crossword? You just need to, unfortunately, deduct. You need to make a deduction about about the fact that these things might even be in the puzzle at all and where they would go. And in this case, this just 4 letters did not seem enough for me for showy daisies. I just did not think that word was going to fit there. And it worked, and my intuition, I think, was correct. First letter of menorah in Hebrew. I don't know all the Hebrew letters. Let's see. Thermon of film, Uma Thurman. And a password might be provided with one. A username for computer systems. A be possessive is to own something. Tax assessment? Tax basis for a write-off, perhaps. Tax asset? Is that something? Let's raise our glasses, a toast. Yeah, that seems probably right. So is mem the first letter of menorah in Hebrew? That seems plausible to me. I'm going to leave it. Norse mythology's equivalent of Olympus. Norse mythology's equivalent. What is this? I'm sure I should know what this is. I'm sure I do. The equivalent of Olympus, where the gods live. What is this? Why can't I think what it is? That's really frustrating. I'm sure I do know it. Source of some base humor for short. UFO? No. What would this be? I'm not sure. Auctioneer's cry, sold. Oh, maybe it is UFO. Why is it UFO? That seemed like what it was going to be. Is it like like Roswell military base said to be the site of UFO landing? But why humor? No, it's not. It's USO. It's a USO show. It's entertainers, such as comedians, entertaining United States military service members overseas. That's what it is. One going fishing. I'm not sure. Oh, Asgard. Boy, why could I not think of what that was? That's the Norse mythology equivalent of Olympus. There we go. So an angler, and that helps with this. An angler goes fishing. Yes. Okay, fortresses are, don't know. Poet Khayyam, Omar Khayyam, great Islamic poet. Okay, Las Vegas is Harry Reid, probably International Airport. Yeah, Harry Reid, I think he's a Nevada senator. That would make sense. Thieves' Place would be a den, the den of thieves. Need for a transfer of power. Need for a transfer of power. Cord, a power cord, literally transfers power. Okay. Fortresses are, don't know. Oh, man who wrote songs for 1999's Magnolia, the great Amy Mann. Oh, I was wrong. Oh, I misspelled Den. I wasn't wrong per se. I just misspelled it. Yeah, I think I first encountered Amy Mann through her music in the film 1999 Magnolia, which was also where I first, I think, encountered the director P.T. Anderson, and I really enjoyed both of those people who make things. And yeah, I've seen Amy Mann live a couple of times, not recently. But yeah, great songwriter and performer. Fortresses are citadels. There we go. That's straightforward. This is the first truth that blank thine own tongue was guilty of. All's well that ends well. This is the first truth that e'er thine own tongue was guilty of. So that's a poetic contraction of ever. So the first truth that ever, essentially, thine own tongue was guilty of. Okay. A bit of Shakespeare there. And then teeming is something dint. Why can't I think what this is? It's teeming with fish. It's... Oh, I just can't think. That's infuriating. Happy, dopey, sneezy, sleepy, grumpy, and bashful abbreviation. Now, this looks like it's listing, I guess, 6 of the 7 dwarves from Snow White and the 7 Dwarves, but they're not capitalized, so they're not names. So they're just adjectives, presumably. Let's see if that works. Which one are we missing there? Oh, Doc is the one who's not listed. Abundant is teeming. There we go. That's what it is. And then blank ideal. Well, no, that's not ideal. It's idéal in French, I suppose. So it's beau, perhaps? Like a beautiful ideal? Is that? I actually don't think I know that phrase. What about this? Rep who's not a rep. Right, this is clever. So a rep as in a representative who's not a rep abbreviated as in Republican. So a representative, a United States member of the House of Representatives who's not a Republican might well be a Democrat, probably is a Democrat. And then ones making outcries are umpires. Something round and metallic with kanji written on it would be. Oh, I bet this has Japanese. Sorry, this clearly has Japanese in it somehow, but I bet it has I in it. Japanese yen. Yeah, that's what it would be. No, Japanese. I goes here and then N. Yes. So it's round and metallic. It's a coin. It's a Japanese yen coin. There we go. Great. Okay. And then please rush ASAP as soon as possible. To figure something out is to suss it out. Music genre associated with the tellum or reverse mullet. I don't know this. I'm not familiar with this hairstyle or the name of it, but it must be emo, the official rock subgenre of the New York Times crossword. Someone was asking in the comments recently, what does he mean when he says the official such and such of the New York Times crossword? The New York Times doesn't appear to have any such official list. No, they don't. This is my silly recurring joke about words and phrases that tend to come up in the crossword far disproportionately to their sort of representation in the English language as a whole. And emo is one of those. It's the rock subgenre that comes up in the New York Times crossword very disproportionately frequently. Advanced cautiously, front end first. You nosed into a parking space, perhaps. Disney Snow Queen would be Elsa from Frozen. Hole for a shoelace, is an eyelet. Okay, several characters in nonfiction. N's? Yeah. There are several N's, literally, in the word nonfiction. There are 3 of them, in fact, and we've spelled out N. Something conical in a chemistry lab. Right, an Erlenmeyer flask. How do I remember the name of that? I don't think I've needed to think about it in many, many years. Erlenmeyer flask. There we go. I think that's the one that's kind of a very wide base, and then it narrows, and then has a tubular neck at the top. I think that's what that is. I could be wrong. Upgraded with new machinery. Retooled, maybe, or refitted, something like that. Homes for hogs are sties. So yeah, maybe retooled. Let's try that and see if it works. Approves. If you approve something, you okay it. So approves could be okays. Republican Politico Haley. Nikki Haley. I know that name from U.S. politics. And then corner piece is a nook. It's not. I don't see quite what that would be. A book? No. Children. Oh, right. Here's our revealer, apparently. Children's game phrase that should start the italicized clues, or a hint to 8 squares in this puzzle. Interesting. Should start the italicized clues. Something. Is it I spy with my little eye? I bet that's what it is. Something big and rocky. I see. Yeah, these are written as though someone is playing I spy. I spy with my little eye. Something big and rocky with a space for a space in it, or something conical in a chemistry lab. Right. So I spy with my little eye. Right. Okay. And in this case, I is fully spelled out. It's not in a rebus. And the reason for that is because this isn't one of the little eyes. This is we're describing it as a little eye here. And then here we're actually making the eye little as a result of this sort of revealer. So that's what's going on there. And that was helpful to get all those letters. Archer's protection, armor something, armor pad, something like that. I'm not sure. Let's try it and see. Oh, a corner piece is a rook in chess. Right, the rook is the piece in the corner. And then Spanish interjection. Oye? No. Novelist James. AG, this is an armed guard. Yeah, it is Oye. Okay. So arm guard, that makes more sense for an archer. It's more specific anyway. You have a guard on your arm to prevent the sort of chafing or injury from the arrow. Long-running drama with the protagonist Olivia Benson for short. Don't think I recognize that. Is it SVU? It's just that would fit here. I have no idea if that's the name of a character from it. Let's see. Topsy-turviness. Havoc? Yeah, this looks likely. So it must be, let's see, diaphanous. So diaphanous fabric material is sort of sheer material. You can light passes through it. And then a certain water hazard is a shoal, sort of feature of, I don't know, coastline or estuary or something. At all with the. It doesn't happen at all. It doesn't happen in the least, or it doesn't happen the least. The least bit. There we go. Yes. It's not true at all. It's not true the least bit, or it's not the least bit true. Dag Hammarskjöld, the only posthumous winner of a Nobel Peace Prize. That I'm certain of. He was the General Secretary of the United Nations. I think that's the case. Let's see. Timeless. Ageless? No. Age-old. We wouldn't say, I mean, it's very unlikely you would have timeless in a clue and then repeat the less in the answer. I mean, it's a different word, but it's still, I feel that's against the sort of standards of New York Times crossword clue construction. So that's just another thing to keep in mind. Something soft and melty in a black tub. Something cream, ice cream. Soft and melty. I'm not sure. I can't think of something that this will have I in it because it's one of the italicized I Spy clues. Way around. Detour, I don't know. Take that, loser. I win. To tolerate someone or something is to abide it or them. And then way around. Oh, a bypass? That seems correct. Location marker on a map app. Pin, yeah, the little pin icon. Alfred E. Blank, mascot of Mad Magazine. Alfred E. Newman is the character's name. How is that spelled? Is it like this or is it with a U? I think it might be this way. That's that sort of, I don't know, nerd-looking character from the cover of Mad Magazine. And then sleep informally is snooze or something, or word has it. I hear not another word. Shh. So sleep informally. What is that? I don't know. Sort who won't heed the advice. Don't look down. A snob, right? So they don't mean don't look down quite literally, but rather metaphorically, don't look down on people who you sort of perceive as inferior due to your snobbishness. Hall's music partner. Hall and Oates is a musical duo. So what's sleep informally? Feels like I have something wrong here. Breyer's ice cream. This must be with an I here. I guess that must come in a black tub. So Breyer's ice cream. So what abuts une côte? So what abuts a coast in French would be mer, or the sea. So then what's, oh right, yes, of course, that's why this wasn't working, because I didn't have the I in there. Sleep informally is shut eye. There we go. It actually all does work out. That's good. Okay, let's, I don't know, let's look at this, I guess. Can you believe it? I meant to look at this. Per diem, per day. So then what's this? Can you believe it? Oh, an ism. Right, okay. Like, I don't know, behavioralism or something. It's some kind of theory about how things work. Can you believe it? Something yellow and happy in a text message. A smiley emoji. That's what it is. Yep, okay. Smiley emoji. That must be correct. I wonder if the phrase smiley emoji has ever occurred in the crossword before. It's a bit of an odd phrase, I think. Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not odd in the sense that I don't understand what it is, but I feel you'd ordinarily say, oh, it's a smiley face, or it's an emoji, or it's a smile. I guess you say smile emoji, maybe. Smiley, I almost think of as like, it's part of the phrase smiley face, or it's just on its own. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not a criticism of the clue. I just wonder if it's ever appeared before. Cheese typically wrapped in paraffin would be Edam cheese in that red wax. Mega store, ? Not sure. That group would be them. Smash to smithereens would be you atomize something, smash it into little bits. And then a place with moving exhibits would be a zoo. In other words, the exhibits are effectively the animals, and they are alive, so they move around. Shakespearean potion ingredient, Eye of Newt, from the three weird sisters in Macbeth. Out of touch for decades, say. You've lost... we're out of touch for decades. We're not sure. Outdoor event with costumes. Oh, Ren Fair, Renaissance Fair. Yeah, that's what that is. So then, out of touch for decades, say. Could there be an eye down here? There could be. Something long and painted on a highway. Double yellow. Yes, yeah, here it is. Okay, so it wasn't where I thought it might be. Double yellow line. There we go. So let's look at this eye then. This little eye. Ridiculous. My eye, right, okay. My eye, ridiculous. Yeah, just sort of a slightly quaint expression of disbelief. Final Four event, the semifinals. Venice's Blank Bridge, Rialto, I believe. Never actually been to Venice, but I think that's correct. One of the Jacksons, LaToya Jackson, was one of the Jackson Five. And then bit of blue on a map of Scotland, a loch, right? So yes, body of, that particular category of body of water. And then an otherworldly glow would be an aura. Pungent would be acrid. Greeting with the hands would be a dap, like a fist bump. And then excellent in 1990s slang would be fat. There we go, indeed. All right, those two things sort of arguably go together to some extent, just to feel like they, I guess a dap isn't necessarily 90s, but I guess that's when I think of it, just because of my own age. Crispy tortilla-based dishes. Tostadas, maybe? Blank-eared. Lop-eared? Like a rabbit or something, or a dog? A certain dog. Elect to do something. Yes, to elect to do something would be to opt to do it. Out of touch. Oh, a long-lost friend who's been out of touch for decades. There we go. That's what that is. And then a store that sells protein powder. Right. So GNC sells various sort of supplements and things like that. So that would presumably include this. Express Amtrak options are, the Acela train, or Acelas, I guess, in this pluralized case, is the ostensibly high-speed rail corridor that Amtrak runs in the northeastern United States. It's not very much faster than the regular Amtrak, but it is a bit. Onion-like vegetables are leeks. Radiohead's first #1 album, 2000, was Kid A. Wow, interesting. I hadn't realized or remembered that was their first #1 album. That's really interesting one to have been that. A hold-up is a snag, I suppose, and then herb paired with brown butter in sauces. Yeah, brown butter and sage often go together. Jargon suffix ease, like crossword ease, as another term, a way to refer to some of these kind of official terms of the New York Times crossword in my kind of delineation, such as emo. Okay, GI grub and MRE, what is that? Military ration. I'm not sure exactly what MRE stands for, but it is military rationed food. Turn in would be to, I don't know. Is MRE correct? I think it is. Is it? Vacillator's confession. I might. You're vacillating. You're not making a decision. You're I might do it. I'm not sure. Something feathery slipping on nectar. Something feathery sipping on nectar. Oh, can't think. It'll have an eye in it. Single facial feature. Nose or single facial feature? Mouth? What else do you have one of? Not sure. New home for a Fresh Prince in a 1990s sitcom. Of course he became... Oh, this must not be I Might. Okay, that would explain why these other things aren't making sense. Bel Air, of course, is where is the place of which he is said to have become the Fresh Prince. Transportation centers are hubs. There we go. To slightly outdo would be to edge or to one-up. Brand of wafer, Nilla wafers, vanilla, flavored wafers. Scrutinize, not sure. What about this? Something honey bee. No, something, yeah, wait, no. Honey, something feathery. What is feathery that would sip on nectar? Honey eater? I don't know. Is that a name of a bird or something? I'm not sure. Scrutinize. To eye over, to eye, not sure. Single facial feature. Oh, a unibrow. Right. Okay. Single sort of connected eyebrow. So scrutinize is eyeball. To eyeball something would be to scrutinize, to look it over. If you're down in the dumps, you're sullen. A funerary shroud is a pall, which we also use metaphorically. And then animated daughter of King Triton would be Ariel from The Little Mermaid. So honey, it must be honey eater. That must be correct. That must be a bird. And then vacillator's confession, I'm torn. Right, okay. Different than what I had in there. Turn in would be to screw in. Right, as you literally turn something in, like a light bulb, I suppose. Okay, that must be right. An ellipse has two of these. An ellipse has two of these. Foci? An ellipse. Yes, it does, right. Because an ellipse is essentially two arcs. So it has two kind of, foci, the I don't know how to describe those, but the sort of extreme points of the arc. Okay, so if a door is slightly open, it's ajar. And then ready to eat is ripe, I guess, like fruit or a vegetable. Nowhere close, afar, it's far away. And then locale for a Snapple fact would be on the underside of the cap, the bottle cap. So that is indeed ripe. Mega store. Right, well, I don't know what this one is. Question mark. Mega store, question mark. It's a pun. What is it? Don't know. Fundraising fete, a gala. It's often used to raise money for some cause. Common remote batteries are double A's. Brendan of the Mummy. Brendan Fraser was the lead character in The Mummy. So megastore. Oh, I see. A megastore, as in a big store of goods or treasures, would be a hoard. There we go. Ballad is I don't know. Held in check is you kept this person in check kept at bay. Tired would be, don't know. Newswoman Phillips, don't think I know that either. Could be Kate or Katie or something. Run down is ratty, just kind of in a bad state. Many a hangout in Boys Town, Chicago. Gay bar, probably. Oops. Let's check against the crosses here. Ballad, lay, like a song. Yeah, that is a fairly rarely used term these days for a song, a ballad, but there we go. And then tired is stale. Right, okay. Like a tired phrase. It's sort of trite. It's tired, it's stale. And then Kira, maybe, or Kyra Phillips. Kira, probably. In the style of Allah from the French. Okay, well, there we go. So some noble women are dames. And fast food chain founded in New Orleans would be Popeyes, the Popeyes chicken chain. And then to mimic someone would be to ape them. You might get one in a row, or you might get one in a row. It could be an argument, a row. I'm not sure. Really tipsy. If you're really tipsy, you're drunk. I don't know. Something pointy grown by Pinocchio. I spy with my little eye. Something pointy grown by Pinocchio. Is it his nose, or what is it? Something pointy. Don't know. Can't think. Let's go up to the top. Make easier to swallow. Ease something? I'm not sure that's right. Wedge plays next to a wheel to prevent it from moving. Yeah, I mean, I can picture that. What do you call that? I'm sure I've encountered the name of this, but I don't know what it is offhand. Iowan by another name. Oh, is something I. Are Iowans Hawkeyes? Is that, people from Iowa? Is that because the reason that came to mind is because this obviously needs an I in it. Let's see if that helps with anything. Make easier to swallow. Oh, chew. If you chew something, it's easier to swallow, of course. First name in country. I assume this will be the first name of a country singer, someone who sings, country western music. I assume that's what this will be referring to, but I don't have any good ideas about it. So weird. Really tipsy. Pickled. Soused. There we go. Okay, so what's the wedge placed next to a wheel to prevent it from moving? I still can't think. And Sherlock's younger sister on TV, right? Enola Holmes is a current or recent series. Like the Rio de la Plata vis-a-vis the Amazon. Wider, I suppose. Is that right? Let's see. First name and country. Oh, Shania Twain, maybe? Is that right? That feels plausible. So weird. How odd. Yeah. Okay. Oh, a chalk. That's what that is. Yep. Okay, that's the wedge placed next to a wheel. And then you might get one. It is a row. It is an argument or a fight. You might get a shiner. So you might get hit in the face and get a black eye. So, donkey, something. Right. Something pointy grown by Pinocchio. He grows donkey ears because of, I don't know, he goes to that casino island or whatever it is. I don't remember how that all works. Okay, but that's correct. So if one contributes, one adds to something, and there we go. Okay, so managed to get this one done in under half an hour, which is nice because often these Sunday puzzles take longer. So yeah, this theme came together nicely. It worked out well in terms of my little preamble when I started the video about the title of Sunday Puzzles and trying to kind of bear it in mind. It did work out this time. It was relatively, and it helps when the whole thing is consistent. When it's the same, for instance, in this case, the same rebus being entered in every instance. That obviously makes it easier to kind of get the theme and use it. So yes, the children's game phrase that should start the italicized clues or a hint to 8 squares in the puzzle is "I spy with my little eye." And it's nice because this bit begins each of these clues, and then it's within those very clues that we have the little eye that is being used to spy. So yeah, and we're literally constructing these answers with my little eye. So it's nice. It's just it's a nicely consistent and is sort of internally consistent and just well packaged theme, I guess you could say. So we've got Cheyenne Mountain, donkey ears, Erlenmeyer flask, Japanese yen, smile emoji, honey eater, and double yellow line. And it's nice. I think a thing that is generally good and well constructed in this kind of theme is when we're not using the actual word "I" in these theme answers. We are actually pretty consistently. Oh, we are actually interesting. We're using it basically exclusively, almost exclusively, to mean, as the word "I." I mean, it's part of a derived word. I mean, oxize, obviously, that's a word unto itself, but the usage of "I" in that comes from the actual word for "I," the part of the body, whereas obviously in Cheyenne Mountain it does not. And I think in almost all of the downs that's the case. So oxize, hawkeyes, Popeyes. I assume that's true of Popeyes as well. That's probably where that name comes from. It's probably something to do with, like, he's got, I don't know. I don't really know. I assume that derivation has something to do with "I" in some distorted form. Eyelet, yeah, a little eye in the sense of a little hole. Shut eye of newt, eyeball, my eye. Yeah, so it's a nice distinction between the acrosses and the downs and how they intersect with that rebus. It's good. And there we go. I spy with my little eye, which also almost crosses "I." It crosses "oye." And there we go. That was the Sunday crossword. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you did in the comments or the Daily Solve Discord chat server, or when you caught on and how that went for you with respect to the theme. Always curious to know. The Daily Solve Discord chat server is linked in the description field, of course. And do consider subscribing to the channel on YouTube if you've been enjoying these videos. I'll be back tomorrow to solve a Monday puzzle. Much quicker, smaller grid with a theme. Most likely no rebus, but you never know. So do join me for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Sunday. Take care.